every single day and have a sense of urgency with every single one of them, okay? The first thing you've got to get with your leader, okay? You've got every single day you should be getting with your leader. You should be going over at least 2 minutes, man. It doesn't have to be a super long thing, right? But I need to make sure I am in contact. I need to make sure I am in sync with my leader on either what we're doing as a team, what I'm doing as an individual, what I'm doing to tie into them as a mentor to where I can actually get mentorship, okay? Because you've got to be the mentoree before you're ever going to be a mentor, okay? You've got to learn to be a good mentoree, meaning I need to be the one calling my leader, okay? Don't be the guy that's entitled to mentorship, okay? You guys know what I mean by that? Okay, there's certain, don't be the guy that's like, bro, I'm not doing well because my leader's not leading me. That's BS, man. You've got to be able to follow people, okay? You've got to be able to tie into people. You need to be the one calling your leader, right? I can look at Khalil as my mentor, right? And I can be like, man, Khalil hasn't called me in 3 days. It's not Khalil's responsibility. That dude has thousands of other things that he can do, right? It's my responsibility as the follower, as the mentoree, to be like, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, this is what I need help with, this is where I feel like I need to grow, what is it that I should do? I'm the one actually, so you should be the one getting with your leader, okay? I know a lot of your leaders, they call you, okay, right? They call you to check up, they call you, hey, be the one that calls them first, okay? Be the one that pursues them first. You're like, hey man, this is what I'm working on today. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? I'll be in there early tomorrow because I've got to get better at second rounds, right? Be the person that pursues the mentorship instead of the guy that waits for it, okay? So every single day, even if it's just 2 minutes, right? It doesn't need to be a super long convo, right? Like I'm calling Cass as leader, like, Cass, hey bro, like this is what happened today. This is where I felt like I could have gotten better, bro. I freaking crushed it. I got 2 customers. This is what I'm doing. Cool. Bam. Done. Right? It's a 2-minute combo. Right? And then you can BS the rest of the combo, right? Talk about whatever you're doing. Okay? So that's the first one. Get with your leader every single day. Okay? Pursue the mentorship. Okay? Number 2, going over my production every day. Okay? I need to be obsessed with my numbers. Okay? I need to be obsessed with what I'm doing in terms of, hey, what does my Sarah Plus numbers look like? How many credit checks am I actually running? How many people am I closing out of those amount of credit checks? Right? How many customers am I getting a day? Right? Am I falling into the habit of 1 customer a day? Am I really pushing for 2? Or am I pushing for 3 or 4? Like, what are my actual numbers throughout the day? If I'm not getting anybody into Sarah Plus, if I'm not running any credit checks, right? Maybe I'm not talking to enough people, right? If I'm not talking to enough people, I'm not going to have a very good LOAs, right? And that's kind of the root of what we do, right? Is LOAs and trusting the process of, hey, if I talk to enough people and I do it well enough, I'm going to get results, right? So I need to pay attention to what those numbers look like, right? If I'm pitching enough people, but I'm not getting enough people into the credit check, okay, I'm probably not presenting very well, okay? So breaking those numbers down, okay? And then also, like being obsessed with, once you start building a team, being obsessed with your team's numbers, right? And looking those over and actually having a team sales board. Even if you got 1 person on your team, I don't care, right? You're like, man, we're at 20 lines this week. We need to be at 40 lines next week because guess what? I have a goal that in 3 months, I'm going to be running a team of 15 people and we're going to be doing 200, 300 lines a week, right? You've got to pay attention to those numbers sooner than later. Start building the habits of being obsessed with your numbers. Okay, you should be looking over your numbers every single day. Where am I at? Where am I going? How am I moving forward? Okay, how are my numbers actually pushing me forward? Because your numbers, we're in a numbers business. Okay, any business is a numbers business, right? Imagine a business that didn't run a P&L every week.
Nonprofit.
Nonprofit, okay? Right? It doesn't make sense not to be obsessed with the numbers. So be obsessed with your numbers, whether they're small or big. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, listening or reading to an audio for at least an hour a day. Okay, this will challenge you, okay? But even if it's only 15 minutes, okay, you guys got to realize, you know how much time an hour takes out of your day? What percentage?
1/24.
I think that's a percentage.
Okay, do you know what the percentage of that is? It's like 4%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good math. I like it. Okay, it's 4% of your day. Okay, if somebody told you need to take 4% out of every single day to change your life, would you do it?
Yes.
Okay. So why we overthink it, right? Spend an hour a day reading or listening to something that's positive, something that's actually going to put positivity back into your life, something that's actually going to help you grow. Okay? You've got to, what you put in is what is going to come out whether you like it or not. Okay? What you're listening to, what you're watching, all the stuff that you interact with every single day. What goes in is what's going to come out. Okay? And if it's not positivity, 99% of the time, even if you don't realize it, you're like, I'm just watching Netflix for 3 hours a day. Okay? Well, that's not positive. So that means you're going to stay in the same spot. That means nothing good is going to come out, right? You're just going to live an average life like most people live, right? I can't live an average life. I don't want to live an average life. I don't want to have an average income. I don't want to have an average family. I don't want to have an average lifestyle after whatever I do, right? I don't want to do that. So I need to be pouring stuff into myself every single day to where, hey, that's what's actually going to come out, right? So reading or listening for at least an hour a day, okay? Literally, when you think about it, 4% of your day to change the way that you do, right? And it's a compound effect, right? And I was listening to Carlos actually talk about this the other day, and he was like, when I first started actually reading, right? They had a mentor, Ralph and Carlos, had a mentor that tied into them when they were like 18 years old, okay? Because they were in network marketing for a long time before they kind of got into our business, okay? If you know what Amway is. But they had a guy tie into him, and when the guy first told them to start kind of reading books and listening to audiobooks and podcasts and stuff like that, I think Carlos was reading Slide Edge, the book Slide Edge. I know I've mentioned that a lot, right? And it talks in there about, hey, just spend an extra 15 minutes a day, okay? And over 2, 3, 4 years, it'll change the way that you think. It'll change. You'll watch your income change. It'll watch your leadership development change. You'll watch the impact that you have change. And Carlos was like, when I first started reading that, right, I was like, this is BS. There's no way 15 minutes a day for however long is going to change the way that I do things. He was like, this is BS, right? And that's exactly what they've been doing for the last 4, 5, 6 years. And he actually bought into it. And he was like, hey man, this is changing what I do, right? And so you don't understand what that 4% of your day actually does compounded over time. Right, so be consistent with actually reading or listening to something positive that's actually going to come out at least an hour a day. Okay. Number 4, okay, writing your goals down every single day. Okay, the more you write them down, the more important they become to you. Okay. I have a 10X journal, okay, that I try to write my goals down every single day. Okay, and I need to get better because right now I'm 3 out of 7 days. Okay, try to write it down every single day. Okay, because the more that you write them down, 2 things happen. 1, the more important they become to you, and 2, you realize what's actually not important to you, right? And you can realize it a lot quicker, right? You write something down, and then 2 weeks later, you're like, that's not actually what I wanted my life to look like, and you change the goal, right? Instead of doing it once a year, right? If you only do it once a year, that means you only change your goals 80 times, right? 80, 90 times. The average lifespan is 80 years. Right? Write them down every single day, right? And it's also hard to keep a target unless it's in front of you, okay? Everybody had New Year's resolutions. Everybody had New Year's goals, okay? I fell into it last week. I was like, man, I don't even know what half of my goals were that I wrote down, right? I had to go back and I'm like, man, I did write these things down, right? So if you don't write them down, they're not in front of you. It's a lot harder to stay focused and stay locked in on them, right? So writing your goals down every single day. Right? Spend 15 minutes just, hey man, I just write my goals down, right? 15 minutes when I wake up, 15 minutes before I go to bed, right? I do it when I wake up just because then you have the whole day to focus on them, right? You go to bed and you kind of forget about it the next morning, right? So write your goals down every single day. It's really hard to keep a target unless they're right in front of you, right? It's like when they're trying to break a habit and you write it on your mirror, right? Or something like that, right? It's got to be in front of you for you to actually have a change happen, okay? And then the 5th one of a habit that you should do every single day, okay, is you should be the complimentary person. You should be the one that celebrates other people's successes every single day, right? You should be celebrating people that are winning. Every time you hear a success, every time you hear a high roller, every time you hear somebody break leadership, every time you hear somebody solo high roll on the board or make a high paycheck or get promoted or whatever it may be, right? You should be the first person to celebrate them. I don't care if they're on your team. I don't care if you're in your organization or outside of your organization, right? I love our business because it's structured that way, right? It's structured to celebrate other people, right? What do we do first thing in AMO every single morning?
Recognition.
Recognition, right? Right? What do they do first thing on the leaders calls every single time? Recognition. Our business is built around selling other people, celebrating other people, right? Okay? Because we understand that when people win, everybody wins. If you get around people that are naturally winning, you're gonna be the next person that wins, right? So make it a daily habit to celebrate other people's successes, whether you're winning or not in the moment, right? I don't care if you rolled a 0, celebrate the people that won that day, right? Don't come in with your head down the next morning and be like, oh, poor me, I rolled a freaking 0 yesterday, man. Like, and the guy standing next to you freaking wrote 10 lines, and they're like, oh, well, I guess I got to be necked out too. You know, this guy is like his, right? Don't be that guy. Be the person that celebrates other people when they're winning, okay? Because I guarantee you, if you're the first person I love, what's his name, DeMarcus in Dallas, okay? If you're in the Dallas groupie, there's a guy named DeMar. I love this kid, okay? And by no means is he like the top sales guy or the top paycheck earner or putting the most number, I think he has one person on his team and he's been there for a while, right? So by no means is he like the stud of all studs in our business. But man, he is the first person to celebrate everybody. You look at that Dallas GroupMe, every single night, he goes and posts a celebratory post for each individual person that likes solo high rolls. This is Dallas, so there's like 40 of them, okay, right?
It's a long one.
So he writes an essay for like every single person, right? And there's no doubt that he gets a lot of attention for it, and he's going to get a lot more opportunity for it versus the guy that's doing the exact same numbers, that has the exact same one person on his team, right? That has the exact same skill level or whatever, that just doesn't celebrate other people, right? He's creating way more opportunity for himself to actually compound upon that. So be the first person to celebrate other people's successes. Because guess what? If people are succeeding around you, that's a good thing. You're in a winning environment, right? You've got to create that environment for other people. Just be the first person to celebrate other people, okay? So those are the 5 things that you should be doing every single day. Cool?
Cool.
That's all I have.